Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new subscriber, you have made the best decision of your life, because why would you not want to come to this lovely place? So as you can tell by the title, today we're doing a makeup essentials video, and my idea behind this video was when I started off with makeup, I did not know what was going on. I did not know which products to buy. I did not know what brushes to use and all those things. And basically, I decided that I want to do this video so that I can enlighten beginners that are starting off with makeup right now. And yeah, another thing that I wanted to tell you guys is thank you so much for 100 subscribers. Wow guys, honestly I am very grateful. Words cannot even describe how grateful I am. Thank you so much for those who have been subscribing and watching my videos. And yeah guys, tell your friends, let's grow this family. And literally so the first thing I'm starting off with is I feel like I have a base. The first thing I'm starting off with is a spoolie, which honestly you can get almost anywhere. I also have another one that looks like this, so it either looks like this or like this, and both of these literally work the same. And I use this to brush up my brows. Basically you brush your brows into shape before you start filling them in. You see now. Okay, and the product I'm using to fill in my brows is the Julienne Brow Gel, if I'm not mistaken, and this is what it looks like. And I'm using a flat angled brush. Mine is quite small, but it works wonders. So I'm just going to show you how to fill in your brows. So firstly you take your gel and you just create a very thin line, and basically this is to make sure that your shape is the way you want it to be. So if you don't want it to be that way, then that's when you start tweaking, and then you just start filling in. And then you fill in the tail. So you'll go in light as possible if you want your brows to be light, or you'll go in as dark as possible if you want your brows to be dark. But this is time for concealing, and I'm actually using two concealers today because I don't want it to be too bright. So I'm using the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn, and I'm using the MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC50, and this is how they look. Oh sorry. And basically you go in with a flat brush. Cool. This is what it looks like, as long as it's got a very thin tip and it's flat, which will ensure that you are very precise when you're concealing. So yeah, that concealer that I put on the back of my hand, and I put a little bit, start off with a little bit, then you can always just go back in with more, and you're just going to go along the shape of your brow. And yeah, see they are more precise than what they were, and they're more defined. That's why concealing is so important, and you can just fix errors that you made. Maybe if your angled brush went out of its pathway, then you can fix that up with concealer. So the next product you're going to need in your beginner kit is foundation. And honestly, at first I struggled with foundation. I did not know which one was for my skin, which one would look nice. And I think the basis of your base is foundation. If you know your skin type, you will know which foundation to use. If you know what works for your skin type, you will know what will work for your foundation. So you will know what kind of primer you need, which also is something that you need. It's not the most important thing, but it's very essential if you want your makeup to last for very long. So I'm using the Essence Prime Plus Studio Mattifying and Pore Minimizing Primer. This is what it looks like, and this is good for oily skin. I also used to use the Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser from Maybelline, and this is what it looks like. A lot of people think this primer is for everyone. It's not, guys. It's for people with oily skin. Please understand that. If you know your skin type, you will know which primer to use. And I'm using the Photo Focus Foundation in the shade Espresso from Wet n Wild, which is very mattifying. Hence why, if you know your skin type, you will know what products to use on your base. I use a mattifying primer because I do not want to be looking like a grease bomb. Hence, everything that I actually use is for my skin type, you know. So if you know your skin type, then you'll know which products to use. And honestly, to apply your foundation, either a beauty blender or a foundation brush, which is also called a stippling brush, which is kind of like it's got a flat surface and it's a little bit fluffy. Others use this kind of flat brush as a foundation brush, but yeah, it didn't really make sense to me. So those are the things that you need to kind of have a nice base. So once your base is all done, as you guys saw, I did go in with a beauty blender just to, after I went in with my foundation brush, I went in with the beauty blender just to make sure that everything is blended out. And I highlighted my eyelids so that it can make a base for my eyeshadow. So the very same concealer you were using to conceal your brows, you can use to conceal your face. And I'm using the same Lego concealer. So basically, if it has an applicator, you can just use the applicator to put on your face, provided you don't share your makeup with everyone and anyone. because then it will just cause problems with your guys' skin and bacteria and all those things. So I'm just using the applicator and I'm gonna highlight my under eyes, and you just want to create almost like a triangle. So I just fill it in just a little bit. And the purpose of highlighting is, it's honestly just to brighten up your face, not to make it look flat, because without highlighting and contouring, your face just looks really flat and boring and without life. So I'm also going to highlight my nose. And my forehead. And these are the places where light hits the most. Honestly, I don't make perfect shapes on my face when I'm highlighting. I just, yeah. And sometimes I put highlighter here, and this is called reverse contouring. This is just to make sure that this part of your face, like this part and below, stays light. This part is darker because it's creating shadows to kind of like form a face structure that you desire. And these parts need to be as light as possible, and these parts dark. It's whole makeup terminology, and according to your face, that's how you will highlight. And yeah, so I'm not going to blend in this highlighter right now, and I'm just going to go into eyeshadow. Okay, so I have one palette, and I began with one palette. I still have one palette. I'm using the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. It's so dirty right now. It's so dirty, like I'm even embarrassed to show you guys, but I think you guys have seen it in my other tutorials. This is what it's looking like, and I am very embarrassed because I don't know, some powder spilled on it. So I'm using one palette because honestly, as a beginner, you don't really need an eyeshadow palette, but if you want one, you can get one. Before I got this one, when I was beginning, I used to use my contour to create shadows in my eyes, and I found that very effective until I could afford buying a palette. So if you're trying to save the coins, then I will show you another way to use your other compact powders. So I'm just going to create a normal eyeshadow look, nothing too hectic. Yeah. So all I'm doing is packing my eyeshadow color onto my outer corners of my eyes, and I'm using a fluffy brush. You can get brush sets from DISCHEM, Clicks, but basically most of them will tell you what the certain brush is for, and all you need to do is just know that if it says eyeshadow brush or blending brush, especially if it's this fluffy, you will know that it's for your outer corners of your eyes, which is mainly this part where I've put color on. So now I'm just gonna cut my crease. Cutting a crease is basically putting highlighter here to make this part of your eye lighter, and I do it with the same brush that I was concealing my brows, and I use the same concealer I was highlighting and concealing my brows with. So basically, if you really want to save, you don't have to buy different products for different things. Sometimes you really can use one product, or one palette for multiple things. And I will show you guys a palette that I have that has highlighter, it has blush and bronzer. It just has everything and it's very reasonable. After cutting your crease, I'm now going to blend out my concealer, and basically I like wetting my blending brush, my beauty blender, because it just makes everything seeming, and it just blends everything and it becomes like butter almost. And I just use my setting spray and I just spray it on my beauty blender and then I blend. So the next product I'm going in with is my Brighten Up Banana Powder, and this is basically to set that concealer, and I'm just using an ordinary fluffy brush. This is what it looks like. It's not amazing, it's just like an ordinary brush. You basically can use your beauty blender, but yeah, because I have this brush, I just rather use it. And you just place the powder where you place your concealer and you just tap in to make sure that there's no creasing. So next I'm contouring while I'm letting that set my concealer and let it bake. I can't show you guys the compact powder that I'm using to contour because it's broken, and if I lift it, a mess is just gonna happen. So I'm using an angled brush. It's from a brush set that I bought at DISCHEM, and I know it's a little bit dirty, guys, but yeah. So an angled brush usually sits very well when you are contouring, and it just hugs your cheeks properly. So you just dab your brush into your product and you use circular motion to create that contour that you like. So I'm just going to, like, just after doing my eyes, I was basically making it look nice and just packing some color on my eyelid, and now I'm just going to dust off all that powder. So now, oh my gosh, it's so dirty. Anyways, so now I'm going to use my Ultimate Face Palette, and I'm only using this to bronze and use some blush, but you basically can use this palette for more or less anything. It does have concealers, it does have highlighter, and it does have blush and bronzer slash contour. So this palette is from Beauty Treats, which you can get from DISCHEM. This is what it looks like. It is a little bit dirty, so sorry, but okay, let me just show you guys. So these 4 shades right here, those are your concealers, and you can also contour with this concealer, with this shade here, instead of powder contouring. I like powder contouring because it's a little bit more, like, it doesn't fade away as quickly as cream contouring. And then you can use these ones to highlight. These are the 3, wait, yeah, these are the 3s, and then you can use these 2 champagne colors, these to highlight your face, and then these 4 you can use as blush or contouring. And that's what I like about this palette. It's literally, you're buying so many things, like you're buying so many uses in one product. And you can use these pink ones to create your colors on your eyelids. Hence I was saying that if you do have a palette like this as a beginner, it is proper, because you know that you don't have to spend money on an eyeshadow palette and a face palette and blush and contour and all those things. So honestly, if you guys find these, please invest in them. So I'm just going to use these last 2 colors to bronze my face. Bronzing is very similar to contouring, except this is more, it's a little bit harsher. Like, you know, contour, it gives you that dark shadow, and bronzing is just, you know, very subtle, and it just brings back some light into your face, because I already used that very powdery setting powder. It's very powdery, as you can see, like you can see under my eyes that it's very highlighted and it's very powdery. So if I use this, it just brings back that natural tint to my face. And I'm using I'm using a very fluffy brush, and blush brushes or brushes that are used for bronzing are usually very fluffy and very thick and quite big actually. So let me just stop there before I go in too much. So now I'm going to go in with highlighter, and I'm using the Glow Kit from Sweetheart. It's a drugstore kind of shop, if you call it that. You can find it in Westgate, Southgate. I think that's about it, honestly. I don't know the other places. So I'm just using it. This is what it looks like, and it has 4 different shades. It's a little bit dirty, but it has 4 different shades, and I'm going to use the golden bronze, which is this one. And I'm using a tapered fluffy brush, Honestly, if you buy a brush set, these brushes will come labeled and you will know which one to use. It's like tapered, like this, but it's very fluffy as well. And I used to use a fan brush, but fan brushes weren't really working for me. So yeah, then I just started using this. So you just highlight. I'm not gonna go in with a lot because I went ham on my bronzer today. My bronzer slash blush, I mean. Wow, my cheeks are really rosy, like wow. So I'm not gonna go in with a lot of highlights. So after highlighting, you're gonna use your setting spray again. I like using my setting spray about 2 to 3 times just to make sure that my makeup is all intact. And generally, after using your setting spray and putting on mascara, this is where a beginner ends. But I'm just going to put on some lashes, put on maybe like have a wing going on. I don't know, I just want to try something out with my eyes just to make it a little bit more extra. And I'm not necessarily going to explain this because it is a bit advanced and it's a bit too much for beginners, but I will just show you guys what my finished product becomes. Okay guys, so this is the final look. I know it looks crazy. I know it looks out of this world. I don't know what exactly I was thinking when I was creating this, and I just decided to become really creative. And yeah, just comment down below and tell me how you guys think I did. This is my first time doing something this extreme, and I really did enjoy doing this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing a whole lot of stuff on my face at once, and I really did enjoy it. So can you guys please comment down below and tell me what you think? But all in all, I enjoyed this video. I hope you guys did too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please do share this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.